Hey everyone, Sharon J. Lawrence here, back for 31 days of healthy relationship tips. I'm super excited to be back. As you all know, yesterday we had some issues, but it worked out tonight. So I'm grateful for that. We know that technology is an issue, but there is nothing that is going to stop this show. Okay. We have information for you and it's free. Like you can't beat this. Experts, people who have real life experiences, they are here to support you. So that leads me right up to now. This week we are focusing on friendships, and I have the lovely Mrs. Alexis Jones with me. Hi.
Hey girl, how are
Hey girl.
you?
I'm
Love those
good.
glasses.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I love
Good.
Sundays, so it's a great day.
It is a great day. It's a great day until it's like, oh man, tomorrow I gotta go back to work.
Right. Okay.
But it is a good day. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. This is extra special for you. And there are several people, you all don't know this, but I have like background stories for a lot of these ladies who are joining me. And so it's special when you get to do this with people that you have grown with over the years. So I guess it's timely as we talk about friendships. We have established a friendship and a professional relationship. So I'm grateful for that. So thank you so much for being with me
No,
tonight.
thank you for having me. I love what you're doing as my mentor, my friend. You know, I love you dearly. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hey, how I go? Like, yeah, there you go. There you go. So y'all ready for this? We are kicking off a new week 3. Okay? 3. So get us locked in. Make sure you subscribe to this page on YouTube and like the page here on Facebook so that you can keep up with what is happening. Tonight, I want to call her Lexi. Tell me if I need to call you Lexi or Alexis. What's more? I'm going to call her Alexis for you guys because I don't want y'all to see her in the street and think it's okay to call her Lexi. Okay?
Hey,
Alexis.
it's okay.
Okay. Let's talk about this topic because everyone this week is going to have something different. But when you told me what your topic was, I said, oh, yeah, this is good. Are your friends challenging and inspiring you to grow?
Absolutely.
A lot of people want friends and a lot of people have friends, but their friends may not be doing this. So what does that mean?
Right. And I think it's so timely because in preparation for this Facebook Live, I actually polled my friends because I'm grateful that I have a great, strong support system. Right. And I asked my friends to give me 3 components of a friend. Right. And many of them gave, the typical things that we think about: loyalty, trust, support, encouragement, which are all great things and are great qualities of friendships. But when I started to think about it, I'm like, real friends really challenge and inspire us to grow. Because I think sometimes we are so caught up on, well, we've been friends for a long time. We've been friends since high school. We've been friends since childhood. But are they encouraging you to level up and go to the next level? And I think that's a really, really important part of being a friend. So if you said, hey, I want to start this business. Hey, I want to take this test. Is your friend holding you accountable to it? Is your friend inspiring you to do it? Are you surrounded by people who are doing great things, miraculous things that are making you want to look at yourself and say, hey, I need to level up too.
Right.
Started her private practice. She didn't pass this exam. Let me do the same thing. So I think that's a very key component of being a great friend.
Thank you for saying that because I always hear people say, I have this friend that just won't do this. And I often wonder what is the level of impact that individual has on the people around them. And I'll ask them, have you encouraged them or have you showed them how it's done or have you even challenged them, like you said, to say, hey, it's time that you do something different. I see so much more. Do you think it's hard to find friends that have I guess, how can I say this, that they're courageous enough to challenge their friends to step up? Because some people are afraid to say, hey, you need to do this for fear that they're going to lose that friendship.
Absolutely. And I think that the key component of what you said was fear. And I think a lot of times in our friendships, we are definitely scared to have those courageous conversations. And if someone is your friend, right, then you should be able to have open, honest, transparent conversations. You should be able to hold them accountable. But if you see more in them, you see the gold in them, it's your responsibility, your obligation to say, hey, Sharon, I heard you say that you wanted to start this private practice for the last 3 years. We've been talking about it. What steps are you taking? How can I support you? How can I be of help? And I know a lot of times we get really, really busy. So it's kind of like you get lost in the fog. But for me, I'll set reminders in my phone. Like I'll say, hey, check in with Lauren about her real estate stuff. Hey, check in with Kristen about her private practice or whatever it may be. Just making sure that you are actually being intentional about checking on your friends and holding them accountable.
Right. That's awesome. Hey, Lauren. Hey, Kristen. I know y'all watching. Okay, let's go to a definition of friendship. It says it is a state of mutual trust and support between allied nations. So when you're talking about larger groups, a relationship between friends, meaning a friendship or bond was formed. And then it also says the emotions or conduct of friends, like the state of being friends. So it's active.
Right.
And so do you think people actually look up definition of friendships when they're walking into these new connections with people, or are they just looking to hang out and get some attention?
Definitely don't think people look up a definition of a friendship.
Right.
I actually had to look it up myself.
Okay.
Probably for the first time for this Facebook Live. And I'm like, what does the dictionary actually say about friendship? And it was those mutual connections, which is very true. And a part of those mutual connections, I think, is that sense of reciprocity that we often don't talk about in friendships. Because I think a lot of times friendships tend to go south, or they lose that connection because someone may feel like it's one-sided. They may feel like they're giving, but they're not getting anything in return. And I often challenge people to understand that there are going to be seasons where sometimes you're giving a little bit more than you're getting. But then when it's your turn, your friend should be giving you some too. So just being understanding and being intentional that, hey, we have to be reciprocal in this relationship. It can't be one-sided. And if you feel like something is missing, it's okay to say, hey, we're friends. This is what I need from you. And as you grow and you get older, your needs in all relationships are going to change. And I think sometimes people don't understand that your friendship needs will also change. As your roles expand, as you expand in your career, as you become parents or business owners, your relationships are naturally going to change, and you have to be more intentional about your relationships. And friendships are really important. We were made to be a community, we were made to be relational and have connections with people. So friendships are really important, but they become harder, right, as we get older. So we have to be intentional about making those connections and being reciprocal.
Yep. Socialization definitely is necessary for survival. Like, you have to be able to connect. And so you think about people who say things like, oh, I don't like people. I don't like people. Well, you need to start learning to like somebody so that you can grow internally. And in the larger scheme of things, you have to be able to connect for survival and connections with people so you can be successful. You don't operate in a bubble, basically. Talk about the difficulty with people moving beyond their own past trauma when they do connect with healthy friendships.
That's a good one. And I often talk to my clients about this, right? Because I don't think we understand the impact of trauma on our relationship. Sometimes we often talk about it in relation to like partners or our significant others, but we often don't talk about how it can impact your friendships. So if you experience, it doesn't even have to be an experience with an issue with a friendship when you were younger. It could be my father wasn't there when I was younger, so I have difficulty trusting people in general. So I have difficulty forming those connections. So I oftentimes keep people at a distance. I keep them away. I'm not willing to be open or let people in that door. So you have to understand what you bring to the conversation, what you bring to the situation, and how you're showing up, so you can be emotionally available to be able to receive friendship and also to give it.
So basically doing that work internally so that you can be on that receiving line, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and not be afraid to form new relationships.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think that sometimes we don't understand that you have to be ready to receive also. We
Mm-hmm.
we always talk about the giving, like I got to give this, I got to give that, but you also have to be in position to be able to receive it.
Yeah.
Because you can be a great friend yourself, you can go above
Mm-hmm.
and beyond for people, but you're not willing
Mm-hmm.
to be emotionally available enough to receive on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard. That's
I'm
hard.
I'm I'm guilty of that. I can actually say that. My one of my office mates, she will go and get something for the office, and I'll try and give her money for it, and she's like, "No, I got it. I'm here now." And I'm
Right.
like, "No, let me give you." And she's like, "No, it's called shared responsibility, Sharon." And sometimes she'll have to say, "Can you please turn around and go back to your office?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I struggle with that
Mhm.
because there were many relationships in my life where I felt like I had to do so much. And then when it starts coming to you, it feels like somebody dropped you in a whole different country and you don't speak that language.
Born. Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, wait, what is happening? And why are you being so nice? What's going on?
Right.
You
Right.
know, and what do you want? And is this about to fall apart?
Yep.
It's not, I wouldn't say it's scary for me in this regard with this scenario, but it's strange. And I think that's what it's like when you're telling people, okay, try to be on that receiving side. It's different.
Absolutely. And it definitely can be tough. And I think that is something that you have to do, that internal work that you spoke about.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional. You have to know, hey, I'm worthy of receiving friendship. I'm worthy of receiving love. I'm worthy of receiving this connection. I deserve this. And sometimes you have to talk to yourself. I have affirmations that I write all over the place. I'll tell you, I'm a clinician, but I am so guilty of negative self-talk. And I'm sure that my friends who are probably watching now be like, yep, that's her. She's she's so guilty of negative self-talk. And I oftentimes don't know my worth. So I would just say that you're not alone. No one's alone. Just because there's professionals that are getting on here for these 31 days, we all have our stuff too. It's
Yes.
okay not to be okay. And it's okay to understand that you have to do that work internally.
That's
So
right.
you just have to be intentional about not only giving, but receiving.
So if y'all not listening, you need to be. It's free tips, some encouragement, some inspiration. Like, do the work.
Yeah.
Do something different in 2020. It's about having a vision to do something different. You can start now. You don't have to wait till January 1. This is not about resolutions. This is about doing the work. So, Alexis, let's kind of see who's here and visiting with us. Okay. We have 17 people on. Dr. Tana. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Sierra. Hey, Lauren. Hi, Miss Austria. Miss Dina J. Hey. So, oh, Dr. Tanner said, hey, Booker Jones. This is good stuff. Okay, let's look at some comments. Ashley says, so true. Yes. Dina says, yes, say it. Got a lot of hands up from Ashley and Sierra. Lauren says, accountability is so important. And so lots of hands ups and waves at us. And so, ladies, please share. Remember to share on your pages so we can get more viewers and take some questions, or at least hear what your thoughts are on what is being discussed tonight. This is good information, and we want to help somebody. We want to encourage them to do better in their new relationships. All right. So we are halfway through. Let's keep this discussion going. Let's talk about having a lot of friends. Does that mean you're a good friend? Having one friend, does that mean you're a good friend? I mean, does it matter in terms of the number of friends you have that defines you as a good friend?
I don't think quantity is a indicator of being a good friend, right? Because we can be surrounded by a lot of people but still be lonely. There are a lot of people from the outside looking in, because social media will lead us to believe that people have all these friends and all these relationships, but do they have that deeper connection? Do they have someone who is checking on them? Do you have someone asking, hey, how are you really doing? Do you have someone who actually knows you, is going to say, hey, you got to get yourself together. And that's the big thing. Someone that's going to hold you accountable. Because I think a lot of times we're in relationship with people, yes men and yes women, but they don't call us out on our stuff. And I think that a real friend is willing to say, hey, I've been noticing X. I think that we should have a conversation about this. Let me see how I can be supportive of you in the situation, but this is not your character. This is not what I'm used to seeing from you, or I see more in you. So how can we get to that place?
Right.
So accountability is another big thing. So I don't think that the amount of friends is an indicator of your worth or your being a good friend.
All right, y'all got that? I hope y'all taking notes so that you can be a good friend. And for those people who say, okay, I don't do any of that in my friendships, we're not saying you're a bad friend. So don't walk away from this saying, okay, oh God, I'm terrible. No, we're just saying we want you to be more mindful.
Right.
To get what you need and to also know how to give to the people who are around you that you care about.
Absolutely. We're going into a new decade.
Yes.
So it's time for us all to step up and level up. And I think that because of social media, sometimes people feel close, but they're really far. So we really have to be intentional about all of our relationships in general, maintaining those connections. And I think that especially if you are in relationship, whether it be a spouse or a significant other, that girl time, that guy time is really, really important. Your sanity, important to your self-care. So you have to make sure you are still maintaining those connections with your friends. And it really comes with intentionality. And I'll tell y'all, I'm not the best friend. So like I said, for me, it helps to set reminders. If I know that they have something big coming up, if I know that you have a meeting that you're having a little bit of anxiety about, I know that you're starting a new business, shout out to Ashley, just checking in to see how you are doing and how you need assistance. So just being intentional.
This is good stuff. Talk a little bit about when you're talking about checking up on people, text message versus phone call.
So
is one better than the other? Is it okay to text all the time? Because we know we're in a technology-driven society right now.
Absolutely. I know that we are in a technology-driven society, and I'll be guilty that most of my check-ins are via text message just because of time. But I think that I am committing to in 2020, just being more intentional about actually picking up the phone and calling people, because that inflection that you hear in the voice can tell you a lot. Because someone could say on a text message, I'm fine, girl, everything's going well. But if you pick up that phone and you hear their voice, you're like, something's not right. So I think it's important to be intentional about actually picking up the phone, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes as you're driving to work, running to the gym, whatever it looks like, whatever your daily routine is, just being intentional about picking up the phone and calling. Me and some of my girls, we actually do like group FaceTime. So we'll have a group FaceTime where it's our time to actually catch up, because sometimes it's hard, like when you have a lot of friends, to call every single person. So sometimes we're like, all right, we're going to have a group FaceTime. We're all going to get on here. What you got to share? What's your new news? What's the updates that you have? What are you struggling with? How can I pray for you? So just being intentional about actually having that audio time.
That's awesome. I like that. Oh, we have some comments. Lauren says, same here. Ashley's yelling out Austria. She said, Austria said, texting for everything is rude.
My mom doesn't say that. She's like, you need to pick up the phone. If it's somebody's birthday, you need to call them. So yeah.
Right. Chanel is on. She says, oh Lord, I'm horrible with this. And then, we have 2 questions actually. Dr. Tanner wants to know, what's the difference between a friend and an associate, and how can one be mindful of this?
Right, that's a good question. I knew somebody was going to ask that question. And I think that I don't really get too much into definitions, right? Because there can be like, there's so many scholars that have like friends, acquaintances, like close friends, tight friends, best friends. But I think it's just that level of relationship. I think that a friend is someone that you can be open, honest, and transparent with. Someone that really, really knows you. Someone that you can say, I'm struggling with this. I'm having a hard time with this. I need you. I need help. Can you pray for me? I think those are actually friends. Acquaintances are the people that are just like, hi, bye. You're not really in deep reciprocal relationship with. It doesn't have that emotional connection.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that that's the difference without going too deep into definitions.
Okay. And Dina says, how do you know when your friend is able to receive your check, like you checking them?
That's a good one, right? That's a really good one, Dina. And sometimes people are not ready to receive it, but that's okay. That doesn't mean that you don't still have the obligation to check them, right? Sometimes you have to kind of weigh your odds. You have to kind of balance it out and see where they are, because you know your friend. If somebody's your real friend, you know what they're able to receive and what they're not able to receive. But if this is something that it's been weighing on your heart, you've prayed about, if it's something that it keeps coming up, although you may feel like they're not able to receive it in that moment, it's still your responsibility to go ahead and say it in the most loving way possible, because they might not receive it at that moment, but later on down the line, they may be doing some introspection and be like, hey, well, Lexi said to me the other day, she might have been right. So let me see what I can do about that. So just being like, hey, I know you may not be ready to receive this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And just say it out of love. So, yeah.
I think that's a good point, is that, and then I will add this, is that I think it's important to do a lot of those things in person.
Yes.
Because sometimes people will send a text message and people can't read really what you mean by what you're saying. We read way more into a 3-word message. You're like, wait, what are they saying? And then when you talk, oh, that's not what you meant. No.
Right.
So either in person or FaceTime, or make the phone call and say, hey, do you have a minute to chat? I want to check in on you.
Absolutely.
And then look for a way to express your concern or do that check. Because if you go right for the check, that's like going for the jugular. They're like, well, Dad, what I do? I'm already feeling like crap. Now this person's coming along not knowing what is happening with me. So you have to be careful how you approach people, even the ones you're closest to. Even the ones you know, you may not know fully what's happening in that moment. So at least do that check-in first. So this is good. This is good.
Wrapping in love.
Yes. The Tiffany box. That's why I always tell people, wrap it up real nice. I like Tiffany's.
Oh, you fancy out here.
Yeah. So anybody like Tiffany's? My birthday is coming up in 9 months. All right. Let's see who else we got. Tiffany Booker says, say it.
Hey, sis.
Yeah. And so we have some folks. Kristen is on. Hi, Kristen. All right. Your whole crew is here.
See, that's what I was going to say, right? That's another key thing. Your friends support you.
Yes.
So if you're doing something, I don't care how small you may think it is, how big it is, how grand it is, your friends show up. They are there. And sometimes life happens that you can't always be there for everything, but you make your best effort to be there. And just to see that my friends are on, I love y'all.
And your husband is on.
Hey, husband.
Oh, he wants us to elaborate on something. Stand by. It says, you touched on it briefly, but can either of you elaborate on the importance of staying plugged into your friendships in the midst of career growth, love life, etc., and how that can help push you forward? Oh, he had a long one. Forward. All right, G.
Give it to us one more time.
Okay. You touched on it briefly, but can either of you elaborate on the importance of staying plugged in to your friendships in the midst of career growth, love life, etc.?
I think it's the thing that we touched on earlier, like you said, is just being very, very intentional about that time with your friends. Whether it's calls, text messages, whether it's guys' night, girls' night, you just have to be intentional about it. If you say, hey, we're gonna get together once a month, or we're going to go on a guy's trip or a girl's trip. I know that's what he's trying to get to. He want to go on his guy's trip, a guy's trip or a girl's trip once a year. Do it. 'Cause I think it's important for your sanity. It's important for your balance to maintain those relational connections, especially for people who are leveling up and they're excelling and they're doing well. It's important to see that in your friends around you, because it makes you like, hey, I need to be doing better too. You got out of debt this year. Okay, I need to do the same thing too. It encourages you to do better.
Right. Y'all don't understand. Every time Lexi say level up or leveling up, I feel like I'm supposed to be like 5, 4. Like I'm supposed to just start dancing, right? So she's telling you, get moving. Like get moving in your friendships. Do the work, basically. But
Transcend.
Yes. Look at her putting that plug in. Yeah. That's what we forgot to do. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're not too far. We have people watching. Y'all, it's not TV one. I'm not, I'm not that professional. But let's backtrack for a minute. Lexi, we know it's all your crew on here. I feel like I know people because of your connections to everyone. But we also have some other folks. I think Linda, hey sis, just joined in. And people are sharing. Tell people what it is you do on a day-to-day basis, because we want them to get the understanding of why you're able to speak to this topic.
Absolutely. Well, I wear many hats. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and professionally, full-time, I do work in child welfare. So I'm a bureau chief. I'm not going to tell y'all where I work, but yes, that's what I do full-time. And I am definitely committed to ensuring the safety and well-being of children, and impacting programs to ensure that children are safe and have a stable living environment. But I also have my own private practice called Transcend Clinical Services that I recently launched after much encouragement from my support group that I was fighting for a long time. And with my private practice, not only do I provide therapeutic and clinical services to people who have issues with or have mental health needs, I also provide clinical supervision and consultation for other clinicians who are looking to grow their practices. And I'm also an adjunct professor at Bowie State University.
Yay! You're doing amazing things.
Thank you. So are you.
I am so happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So let's kind of go. I wanted to touch base on what Greg was asking, because I do think it's important. My husband does a trip every year with his cousins and his friends. And just this past year, he asked me, he was like, can you just take a trip with a friend? And I finally did it for the first time. But I'm so okay. Like just in chill mode. You go have your fun. And I'm good with my lunch dates or, movie time or shopping or just a game night. You guys know we do the game night. So that works for me. But I was like, I think I may take him up on that offer and probably try to do some things.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, okay. She's like, yeah, over here. All right, let's do it. So, and I know I probably need to get out a little bit more because I work hard.
You really do.
Oh, yeah. I've been trying to contact the CDC to see if they can clone me, but they will not take my calls, and I am not feeling that. So
the world can handle 2 of you, though.
Huh?
I think the world can handle 2 of you, though.
Oh, yeah.
You're too amazing.
Y'all be blowing my head up, but thank you. I love you. Y'all be blowing my head up. Okay, we have Mayana Carter.
Hey, girl.
And Kristen Brooks said, you better run that resume. Ashley said, thank you guys for making this platform. The importance of it is unmasked. As I think about, and I know we're coming to the end, but I think about the importance of friendships because I think people miss those small steps and stages that are necessary for maintaining those relationships.
Absolutely.
I think we look at it very lightly. So like what you do with your friends when you're traveling, I think it's amazing. You don't see a lot of people doing that anymore. You don't see a lot of get-togethers, even holidays. Right. People are not doing a lot of that. And so I'm hoping that what you share tonight Alexis, really will encourage friends to kind of step up their game and be creative and make time. I remember, and maybe you can speak to real quickly the whole marriage component, because I can remember when I got married and my phone kind of stopped ringing. And when I would reach out, they would always say, "Oh, but you're married now." I'm like, "I'm not dead."
Right.
Like, we're not together 24/7. I go to work, I go to the restroom, I go to the store. Does that mean I can't continue my friendships? So I had to teach my friends how to still be my friends.
Yeah.
Because they saw me as this other person who couldn't come out to play anymore. And I was like, yeah, that's not the case. Can you speak to what that was like for you, or how you and your friends, understood what this process was going to be as you evolved into Mrs.?
Absolutely. Well, I'm not that far into Mrs. yet, almost at a year. But I think that both of us understood what friends meant to us going into our marriage. Yes, our marriage is definitely number one, but we also understand that we are people outside of our marriage as well. And I think that I didn't really have that great of a struggle because a lot of my friends are married. So they kind of get it. But for my friends who aren't married, they also understand. I think they kind of gave me my space, like you said, for a little bit to enjoy the honeymoon phase or whatever. But they definitely started reaching back out, and we still maintain our connections. And I think it's, they'll make their jokes like, "Oh, so you can play, you come on to play, you can hang out." So I think that's just naturally like what people think, like, because you're married, you no longer can have your friendships. But I think it's important for both the husband and the wife to make sure they do have their friendships outside of the marriage. So that's very, very important.
And we had one more question. Austria wants to know, what about self-care in friendships?
Self-care and friendships.
Yeah.
My mom,
I guess she's asking, like, how do you incorporate that in?
She's asking that because I often talk to my mom about self-care and friendships. I have to put her on the spot. But I also talk to my clients as well about this, because I think sometimes we have a tendency to go above and beyond and overextend ourselves in our friendships, to do things that we may not have the capacity to do. Understanding that it's okay to say no, or no, I can't do that right now. And I think that's also important. And a friend will understand that. And I think that kind of speaks to what I was saying earlier about the reciprocity, because sometimes there's going to be seasons where you are giving. And there's going to be other seasons where your friend might be giving. Right. But if you're the person who is always the giver, and you don't think that you are receiving anything from that friendship, I would ask you to actually evaluate that friendship and see if it's something that is still meant for this current season of your life.
This is good stuff. All right, let's see. Hey, Latasha. Latasha chimed in. This has been awesome. And hey, Crystal. And Dr. Tanner says, cherish good friends because they will truly impact your life in ways you may not understand at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So that brings us to the end. First, let me say thank you so much. You are just amazing. I am super, super proud of you. I'm sure I'm a little bit biased, and that's okay. But I'm doing this, y'all. I'm doing this. So thank you. And I'm proud of you and what you are doing, but I'm also excited about what else you're going to do. I'm not even fully aware of what God is going to do with you. So I'm just excited. I'm just sitting on the edge of my seat, like, go, Alexis, keep encouraging these men and women to grow in their relationships, one with others and also with themselves and with God. So I'm excited. So to close out, don't cry. I'm not gonna do it. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop.
Thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing. And thank you for always encouraging me and pushing me and supporting me and being such a wonderful mentor. Y'all, I wouldn't have been on this Facebook Live if it wasn't for Sharon, because she knows I do not like stuff like this. But she was like, girl, you got to do this. So again, like I said, friends support you, they challenge you, and they inspire you to grow and level up. So here I am.
All right. So to close out, she said it, y'all. Tell people where they can find you and what is coming up next for you.
Alrighty, so with Transcend, I'm definitely building my website. So if you are a website developer or you know someone, send them my way. I can be found on Psychology Today, Transcend Clinical Services Incorporated, or if you have any further questions, you can email me, info@transcendclinicalservices.org. Again, that's info@transcendclinicalservices.org.
Yeah, I know I'm trying to type that in really fast. .org.
Yes, ma'am.
Done. Miss Alexis, thank you again, my dear.
Thank you for having me.
Y'all, thank you for tuning in. And that is the wrap for tonight. Please tune in tomorrow as I interview Miss Janelle Perry. That's also extra special because that's actually my cousin, who I have known since birth. We lived in the same bedroom together, and I'm excited. So y'all tune in for tomorrow because we got some amazing clinicians in this lineup this week. And Mrs. Jones just kicked it off, and you did a phenomenal job. So let's say goodbye to the people.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.